You probably clicked on this video because of the thumbnail. But what if I told you that by the time we hit the 1-minute mark, everything you believe about women, attraction, and love will feel like a lie? Because here's the truth, everything you've been taught about how to win a woman's heart is completely wrong. You've heard that women fall for the nicest guy, the richest guy, or the best-looking guy. Sounds logical, right? But what if I told you, women don't fall in love with men at all, at least not in the way you think? They're not falling for your jawline, not for your bank account, and not even for your so-called personality. No. They fall for something deeper, something primal, something psychological. And if you don't understand what that is, you'll always feel like love is just out of reach, like a code you can't crack. But by the end of this video, that's going to change. You won't just understand how women think. You'll know how to make them feel something so powerful, so unforgettable, that you'll be the one she thinks about long after the conversation ends. Oh, and one more thing before we dive in. I've got something special for you, a free copy of the Female Mind Control Handbook, a brutally honest guide that reveals the hidden emotional levers most men never see. You'll find the link in the description or pinned comment below. Grab it now, because once you understand what's inside, you'll never chase again. Alright, let's get into it. Sign 1. Women don't love you, they love how you make them feel. Here's a secret that most men will go their entire lives without understanding. Women don't love you. Not your face. Not your wallet. Not your charm or clever jokes. What they truly love is how they feel when they're around you. To a woman, love isn't this logical, structured decision-making process. It's not a checklist of pros and cons. It's a storm, a rush, a high. It's an emotional experience that sweeps her off her feet, and once she gets a taste of it, she'll do anything to keep feeling it. You could be the best dressed, most successful, kindest man in the room. But if she doesn't feel something when she's near you, you're gone. Forgotten. Erased from memory like yesterday's text messages. Psychologists have a term for this, emotional imprinting. It's why a woman can meet two guys on the same day. One says all the right things, checks every box, plays it safe. The other? He teases her, challenges her, makes her laugh until she forgets where she is. And guess who she's thinking about that night? Exactly. It's not about being the best man. It's about being the most emotionally impactful. You might be the better choice, the safer option, the loyal guy. But if you can't make her feel something intense, alive, unpredictable, she won't choose you. And that's where most men fail. They try to impress her with accomplishments, with logic, with reason. But the men who actually get stuck in her head, they create an emotional roller coaster. Tension, excitement, mystery, comfort, a push, a pull, a spark she can't quite explain. Ever wonder why a woman keeps going back to her ex, even when she swears she's done? It's not because of who he is. It's because of how he made her feel. Sign 2, the more you chase, the less she feels. Now let me ask you something real. Have you ever sent a message and waited for hours, heart sinking, wondering why she hasn't replied? Have you ever questioned whether she's losing interest, replaying the last thing you said? Now flip the script. Have you ever had someone chase you too hard? Always texting. Always available. Saying yes to everything you want. How did it make you feel? Probably bored. Maybe even a little annoyed. Because here's the truth, humans are wired for tension. And when a man is always available, always there, always chasing, there's no anticipation, no spark, no charge. Tension is what creates attraction. Tension is what makes the heart race. Tension is what turns interest into obsession. But when you chase her, text constantly, drop everything for her, try too hard, you kill that tension. And without tension, there is no emotional high. And without that high, she'll never fall for you. Because love isn't about presence. It's about pressure. The harder you chase, the more she pulls away. The more you give, the less she values it. It's not cruel. It's psychology. We don't chase what's handed to us. We chase what we feel we might lose. So now you understand, the harder you chase, the less she feels. Because the moment she knows she has you, the mystery dies. And once mystery dies, attraction follows. Why? Because as human beings, we don't crave what we already have, we crave what we might lose. The second she feels secure, her mind relaxes. And when her mind relaxes, the emotional charge fades. That's exactly why high-value men don't chase. They lead. They live. They let her come to them. And when she does, they don't lay it all out at once. They don't smother her with attention or validation. Instead, they let her wonder. They create space for curiosity. They pull back just enough to leave her thinking. What's going on in his head? Why is he not reacting like every other guy? Because here's the truth. The moment she stops wondering about you is the moment she starts forgetting you. Sign 3. Women don't want a nice guy. They want an unshakable man. Let's talk about one of the biggest myths out there. The nice guy epidemic. You've heard it a million times. Women say they want a nice guy. But here's the twist. What they really want is a man who's kind, but not weak. Too many men make this fatal mistake. They think being nice means always saying yes, never disagreeing, constantly trying to keep the peace, avoiding conflict at all costs. But let me flip the question. Would you respect someone who never challenges you? Would you trust a leader who always folds under pressure? Of course not. And women feel the same way. You see, women aren't drawn to weakness, no matter how polite it looks on the surface. They're drawn to strength. Not the kind you show in the gym, but the kind you show under emotional fire. Emotional strength. The kind of man who doesn't flinch when tested. Who doesn't beg for approval. Who doesn't crumble when things don't go his way. A man who can say, if you push me too far, I'll walk. That's rare. That's powerful. That's what makes a woman stop and pay attention. This is exactly why women are magnetically drawn to stoic men. Men who remain calm when everything around them is chaos. Men who aren't rattled by emotion. Men who, when she tests him, and yes, she will test him, don't fold like cheap paper. She doesn't want another therapist. She doesn't need another friend. What she's craving is a man who holds his ground. A man who gives her emotional safety not through compliance, but through certainty. Sign 4. Love is a game of perception, not reality. Let's move on to one of the most misunderstood forces in dating. Perception. People think love is based on truth, on facts, on reality. But that couldn't be further from how it works. A woman doesn't fall for you because of your resume. She falls for the story she tells herself about you. Psychologists call this cognitive projection. The idea that we don't really see others as they are. We see them through the lens of our own emotions, fears, hopes, and experiences. So when a woman meets you, she isn't falling for the real you. She's falling for the version of you her mind creates. Her perception is filtered through her past heartbreaks, her insecurities, her romantic fantasies, her subconscious beliefs about men. This is why a woman can go from head over heels in love to cold and distant almost overnight. It's not because you changed. It's because her perception of you changed. And when the perception shifts, the feelings follow. Let's put it another way. Have you ever heard a woman rave about a guy? He's so mysterious. He just gets me. I can't stop thinking about him. Now imagine putting that same guy in a different frame. He's too available, too eager, too predictable. And suddenly, I don't know, something feels off. He's kind of boring now. I feel like I've outgrown him. Same guy, different frame. That's the power of perception. Women don't fall for logic. They fall for the narrative in their mind. And most men, they let that narrative develop on autopilot. They don't guide it. They don't influence it. They let her emotions decide the story. And the moment she places you in the safe or predictable box, it's over. So how do you shape perception? Simple. You become the source of emotional contrast. Unpredictability creates fascination. If she knows exactly how you'll respond, if she can always guess what's next, she stops wondering. And once she stops wondering, she stops feeling. You want to be the man she can't quite figure out. 1 minute, you're making her laugh. The next, you're deep in thought. You share, but not everything. You show affection, but you don't flood her with it. This mix, this ebb and flow. That's what creates emotional spikes. And emotional spikes? That's what creates attachment. If she only ever feels comfort with you, she'll put you in the same category as her favorite sweater, warm, but forgettable. But if you give her moments of comfort, mixed with moments of tension, mystery, and depth, she'll come back again and again. So, you've just told her she's dangerous, the kind of woman who makes you feel like you're playing with fire. But you didn't run. You didn't explain. You let it hang in the air, heavy with tension. And that's exactly what starts the storm inside her. Because now, she's not just flattered. She's curious. She's wondering, what is it about me that makes him say that? Does he feel this pull too? And once those questions start spinning in her mind, again and again like a song on loop, you've got her. But what really seals it? The mystery. Because when she finally asks, "What did you mean?" And trust me, she will, you don't give her a clean answer. You just smile. Maybe shake your head. Hold her gaze for a second longer than necessary. And then you say it, soft and slow. You know exactly what I mean. Then, just like that, you move on. Shift the topic. Act like it was nothing. Meanwhile, she's still sitting there, heart racing, mind spinning, replaying your words like a scene from a movie. And later that night, lying in bed, she won't be able to push it out of her head. Not just what you said, but how you said it. The way your voice dropped. The flicker in your eyes. The unfinished compliment that felt like a secret only the two of you shared. That's when the fantasies begin. Forbidden compliment number 3. You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you. Now this one? This isn't just a compliment. It's a confession. It slips out in those moments of unbearable tension, when the air feels heavier, when silence says more than words ever could. It's not polished. It's not planned. It feels like you lost control for just a second. And that's exactly what makes it powerful. Because yes, women love confident men. But do you know what really gets into their heads? The moment a man who's usually composed starts to come undone. Most guys play it safe. They say the things that sound good. You're so beautiful. You have the prettiest smile. Sweet? Sure. But it doesn't spark obsession. It doesn't linger in her body the way it should. Now imagine this. You lock eyes with her. Maybe you take a slow breath, like you're holding something back. Your voice gets low, almost like you're talking to yourself. And then, you say it. You have no idea how hard it is to look at you and not touch you. Pause. Let it land. In that moment, everything changes. Because now, you've lit a fire she can't ignore. She'll feel it in her chest, in the pit of her stomach, in the space between you that suddenly feels charged with electricity. She'll notice the little things, your fingers slightly twitching, like you're restraining yourself. The way your breath catches for a second. The way your jaw clenches just a bit, like she's affecting you more than you want to admit. And here's the beautiful twist. You don't act on it. You don't lean in. You don't touch her. You don't take it further. You just leave the moment there burning. That's what makes it unforgettable. Because you've just told her, without touching her, that her presence is overwhelming. That she makes you want to lose control, but you're holding yourself back. That restraint? That tension? That's what messes with her mind. Now she's thinking, what if he gave in? What would that feel like? And the longer that thought lingers, the more she wants it to become real. But here's the trick. You don't give her that satisfaction, not yet. You hold the line. You let that compliment float in the air, soaked with tension, and then you change the subject like you didn't just flip her entire emotional world upside down. And later, when she's alone again, head on her pillow, heartbeat quickening, she'll imagine it. What it would feel like if you finally touched her. Finally crossed the line. Finally gave in. And once she starts thinking about that, she won't be able to stop. So next time you're with her, don't just say what every other man says. Don't play it safe. Don't be forgettable. Look her in the eyes. Lower your voice. Say something that makes her pulse quicken. And then, just watch what happens. This is Stoic Guide. Until next time, stay sharp, stay aware, and never, ever be forgettable.
Thanks for spending time here. If this resonated with you, give it a like, send it to a friend, and make sure you're subscribed. Your support means everything.